How do you trust again and love again once you have been betrayed by someone you really loved? How do you move on and love another, or stay with the same person and salvage your relationship? I know this much, that the deeper you love the person, the deeper the wound is and the deeper the pain is. And you're not only dealing with the pain, you're also dealing with anger. Anger towards the person and anger towards yourself for allowing yourself to be fooled. Once you get your heart broken and betrayed, it's just hard. It's just harder to get out there and love again, because you don't want your heart to get trampled on again like that and feel the same feelings. And it's just easier to put that wall and be by yourself. And I know some people who chose to remain unattached for the rest of their lives after being betrayed. And I understand that. At the same time, we need to be mindful of where our heart is headed. Because I also know some women who are so bitter and so cynical against men and love altogether for the rest of their lives. And that's unfortunate, because being cheated upon and betrayed is not a life sentence. You can heal from it and move forward and love again. We just need to get unstuck from the sadness and the pain and the bitterness. So how do we even go there? How do we even go about moving on? First thing is, you need to understand why the person lied to you, why they deceived you, and why they eventually took advantage of your trust. The most obvious reason is they did something really evil and horrible out of their own selfishness, and they want to cover it up. Now look deeper, because there are other reasons. People lie so they don't hurt your feelings. They don't want to see you hurt, so they just cover it up, and it's just easier for you not to know. People lie because they want to honor your bond with them and your relationship or your marriage with them, and they don't want to jeopardize that because they messed up, so they'd rather not tell the truth. People lie to avoid conflict. Maybe your relationship have been really safe and comfortable, and they don't want to rattle the cage, so it's just easier to avoid conflict by not telling you. And also, one lie is that it has nothing to do about you sometimes. Sometimes people lie to calm their own insecurities, to make themselves seem bigger and better than they actually are, to feel better about themselves when they see people being impressed by them. Unfortunately, even though you're not in the picture, you end up getting hurt and getting destroyed. The problem with all these lies is that it doesn't matter what the reason is, it just usually gives birth to another lie, and then another lie, and then another lie, and then to the point where the person doesn't even know if he or she is lying anymore, because they've been doing it for such a long time. And eventually these lies blow up into your faces. The second reason, aside from understanding the lie, is that realize your own role of why this deception is successful. How did you indirectly enable the lie to go on? I'm not defending the person. What they did to you is hurtful, and I know you're hurting. So I'm not defending them, and I can call them names if you want, but this is not about them. This is about you and getting your heart healthy again and healed. And I'm not blaming you either. I'm just saying that in order for you to heal, you need to understand everything from all angles, and you need to understand why the person lied and what your role is. Is there something that you could have noticed? Were there signs that you could have noticed, but you chose not to notice? Is your relationship too conventional and comfortable that it's just easier not to notice anything? For me, it's flattery. If a guy tells me, "Oh, I love you, Kim. You're the only one in my life. You're so beautiful," I get so wrapped up with the emotion of being loved and being in love and all the flattery of it, that I really choose not to notice the unhealthy parts. And that's how I fall, and that's how I contribute And that's what I mean. It's just looking at the situation in different angles. If you have chosen to stay with the person, it's just harder to heal. It's just longer and harder to heal because you don't get a break. Every time you open your eyes and you see the person, you bleed. And the wound gets fresh again, and it's just harder to heal. And my advice is constant choosing. Constantly choose to give your heart a little bit more, even though it hurts. Constantly choose to give your heart a little bit more, your trust a little bit more, and your love for the person has to supersede what they've done to you. Your love has to be a lot larger than the actual deed. That's the only way your relationship can survive. And also, don't stuff everything under the rug. Don't pretend it never happened, or pretend it happened. That's okay, it happened, but then move on. Because if you just put that band-aid on that wound, eventually it will come out again. You'll either take it out on the person some other time, or with a different person in a different situation. But it will catch up to you. And so you have to deal with your hurt and your pain right now. And I'm willing to bet that when that person betrayed you, somehow in the act, you were not even in their minds. It's not that they woke up and say, hey, today I have all this intention to hurt you and destroy your soul and destroy our relationship. I don't think that's the case. It's just that we live in a big world and we're fighting these forces. This place is a battlefield. The forces and temptations that are much bigger than us in a spiritual level, and sometimes we just mess up and hurt other people. And if we look at it in a spiritual level, being human is just complex and it's just hard. And you and your loved one and me, we're all fighting this battle. And sometimes we get lucky and get happy and loved, and sometimes we get hurt. That's just the price that we pay for living in this world. That's just the price that we pay for being human. And I really hope you can find that compassion, however little it is, which leads to forgiveness. Because that's the whole point, to be able to forgive and move on and love again. And be loved again the way you deserve to be loved. Thank you so much. I hope you got something from this talk. And until next time, I'll see you soon.